We believe in female founders. We believe teams that include female founders perform better. We believe there is huge potential for more female founders to scale their companies internationally. Good morning, I'm Elizabeth Pirrie, Chief Operating Officer of AccelerateHER, and I am delighted to be your host this morning as we launch the AccelerateHER Awards 2022 in partnership with Barclays Eagle Labs. This is the 7th year of the AccelerateHER Awards, and I am thrilled to say that thanks to our partnership with Barclays Eagle Labs and the continued support in Scotland of the Scottish Government and CGI, we are taking the awards UK-wide. This means that more female founders get the opportunity to enter the awards and be in with a chance of winning a place in one of our international market building missions and getting mentoring from one of our angels at Investing Women Angels. And all applicants will enjoy all the benefits of being part of the AccelerateHER network, as well as being able to receive and benefit from the suite of support that Barclays Eagle Labs offers, including access to business mentoring, ecosystem expertise, deals and offers, dedicated growth programs, and investor connectivity. And I'll let you into a wee secret. You could actually go onto our website right now and submit your entry. The awards officially opened for entries just a minute or so ago, and you have until 5 to midnight on the 10th of December to get your entry in. But don't log off just yet. We've got an exciting morning ahead where you will learn more about the awards, hear from the 2021 winners, and eavesdrop on a fireside chat between Catherine Morgan, Head of High Growth and Entrepreneurs in Business Banking at Barclays, and our founder and CEO, Jackie Waring. The AccelerateHER Awards first ran in 2016, where we had just one winner, Leah Hutchin of Appointed. Since then, the awards have gone from strength to strength, and over the past 6 years, nearly 700 female founders have entered. Every year, we are blown away by the quality of the entrants, and every year, our judges have a tough job whittling it down to our winners. In 2020, we introduced categories for the first time, and those categories remain the same this year: Science and Medtech, FinTech, Data Science and Cybersecurity, Clean Tech, Climate and Net Zero, and Disruptive Innovation. And new for 2022, we have 5 regions covering the whole of the UK. The 5 regions are North of England, Northern Ireland, Wales, Scotland, and South of England. Now, I'll explain more about that later, but that's enough from me just now. Let's hear from the first of our 2021 winners. Now, before I introduce Kate, I want to say that we don't have time for Q&A today, but if you do have a question for Kate or any of the other 3 winners that are presenting today, please pop them in the chat box and the ladies will do their best to answer them before the event ends. We'll also be sending out a short feedback survey after the event, and that will give you the opportunity to ask for an introduction to any of our winners that are speaking today. Now, Kate Cameron of Cytochroma first entered the AccelerateHER Awards back in 2019, where she made it to the finals. Not content with that, Kate came back in 2021 and wowed the judges, securing the winning spot in the Science and Medtech category. I have no doubt that she will wow you all this morning. Over to you, Kate.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Here, just get this up. Here we go. Yep. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, I was the winner of the Science and Medtech last year, and I'm just going to give you a bit of overview about Cytochroma and then about what the awards have done for me. So we manufacture ethnically diverse mini livers to accelerate drug discovery and development. Discovery and development of a new drug takes many years, is incredibly expensive, and is also high risk. Most drugs will fail during development and others even after they've gone into production. This is because of 2 main reasons: the lack of effective testing in distinct genetic backgrounds and a severe liver damage. These are the 2 problems that Cytochroma solves by providing a diverse source of stem cells for testing and mini livers that predict this toxicity. Induced pluripotent stem cells represent an alternative to animal testing. These cells are capable of self-renewing, becoming any cell type, and reflect the donor background from which they come. However, many of these cells, iPS cells or stem cells, come from limited genetic backgrounds and therefore only enable insight into how drugs will react in a limited population. Cytochroma overcomes this limitation by generating cells from diverse individuals with varying genetic backgrounds. This is a sustainable and ethical supply of cells for testing, and we're developing methods to make multiple cell types and aim to model health and disease in a global population. Our stem cell library is ethically sourced from adult donor blood and contains genetic backgrounds that the FDA has highlighted as lacking in clinical trials. We have the world's most genetically diverse stem cell library, and this enables us with unique insight into how drugs will react in a global population. Now, we could make any cell type, but we've chosen our first cell type to be mini livers. These are amazing. They actually self-organize and they form these polarized like structures, and the cells are formed along cords like we see in the liver architecture. They also have complex functional bile networks, shown here in green, which means they can be used to model drug transport in and out of cells in clinical disorders such as cholestasis. Our mini livers are functional and as mature as current gold standard and have distinct metabolic function, which is varied, and each mini liver reflects its donor background. These mini livers can be maintained for long enough to replace early animal testing and grow in size and complexity over time. They're ideal for predicting the safety and effect of new drugs. With an aging and increasingly unhealthy population, new medicines are desperately needed to combat obesity, diabetes, and fatty liver disease. Our mini livers can effectively model non-alcoholic fatty liver disease and non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, diseases affecting over 1/3 of the world's population. These lipid-loaded cells can be used to identify new therapeutics for these conditions. Cytochroma manufacture all of its mini livers via robotics and automated machinery, making these models highly scalable, reproducible, and reliable. Furthermore, this process is entirely animal and cruelty-free. We provide fast and efficient screening services. We specialize in phenotypic screening, which is a method where we paint the cells with fluorescent tags, image them, and then the effects of the drugs are quantified. This process can be used to measure the effects of new drugs and determine their safety. As tiny visual changes in cell compartments reflect cell health, our data analysis studies can then monitor these changes at a single cell level and use machine learning to become smarter over time and more predictive. This whole process is 5 times faster and up to 10 times cheaper than standard tests. Testing in our cells gives early insight into drug function and effect, and we can measure a range of different effects from cholestasis, hepatotoxicity. We can look at the polarity of the cells and even transporter function, reducing animal testing and improving the number of drugs that reach the market. We have recently launched our drug discovery services and our disease models, and we're working closely with our clients to ensure clinical success. Our cells our models have several unique selling points. We've got a stem cell library that offers unrivaled genetic insight. Our advanced cell models have the potential to replace early animal testing, and our automated production means we can scale cells at an industrial level. The market, we've got 2 patents that we plan on filing very shortly, and the first one is to do with the process of cell manufacture and how we can maintain these models for months in culture. The second is our self-organizing mini livers and how we can be using these to screen the safety of new drugs. The market is growing and global. This year it was 1.8 billion for induced pluripotent stem cells. Testing in liver cells is a standard requirement for the FDA and EMEA, and the US and the EU plan to reduce and ultimately remove the need for animal testing by 2035. Regulators are now seeking innovative technologies that can replace these tests, and induced pluripotent stem cells are cheaper, faster, and more ethical than animal testing. As a result, stem cell models and tests are widely used for preclinical toxicity identification, and big CROs are investing heavily in this area. We have several competitors, but we are quite distinct in the fact that we can offer genetically diverse cells in a reliable and renewable source of stem cells. So we can model genetic diversity with primary cells that come from cadaveric tissue, or you can have an unlimited supply of cells. And we are the only company at the moment that can currently offer both. We have a fantastic team. Sadly, we're not quite as diverse as our library just yet, but we're hoping to improve that and hire some new people soon. We've got a fantastic chair, Margaret, who joined us just over 3 years ago. Cora's our kick-ass scientist, and we've got a team of advisors that keep us on track. We're based at Roslin Innovation Centre, which is just outside Edinburgh. It's fantastic, world-class facilities, and we're hoping to expand our labs and our offices very shortly. We've gained quite a lot of traction over the past 4 years, so we've been entirely grant-based funded to date. We've raised just over £430,000. We've developed novel IP and have developed multiple testing capabilities, and we're now building strategic partnerships with the Beatson Institute in Glasgow to access world-class equipment and expertise, Scottish Development International to gain access to international markets, and we've recently formed a collaboration with the Medicines Discovery Catapult to connect us to pharmaceutical industry, and we're going to write a grant together to develop new cardiac models very soon. However, we're always looking for new people to join the team. We're looking for a scientist and a salesperson very soon, and we're always open to collaborations with pharmaceutical industry, biotech companies, and welcome emails from you all. Since winning Accelerator, it's been a huge impact over the past 7 months. I've managed to, as a result, I think, of winning, I've been invited to speak at a Women in Innovation event. I won the Life Sciences Venture Market, was named the top 4 women in Women to Watch by Business Insider. And also on Monday, I spoke at the World Health Summit in Berlin. It's also given me access to expanded my network, and through the business and mentoring sessions, it's helped me consider my business strategy and also access investment through a fantastic network of business angels. So short and sweet as always, that's me. Please get in contact if you want to help accelerate global drug discovery and development. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kate. That was brilliant. Never easy being the first person up, but you're a seasoned professional now, and you handled it really well. It's just great to see how far you've come on since you first entered the awards back in 2019. I know I said we didn't have time for Q&A, but I'm in charge, so I'm going to ask a quick question. I wanted to ask you, actually, you made it to the finals in 2019. You were absolutely fantastic, but you didn't win. But what motivated you to come back in 2021? Someone else might have thought getting to the finals was enough. What drove you to come back? And we're glad you did, by the way.
Oh, I'm ridiculously competitive, so I don't take coming in the final as winning. So yeah, I was very, encouraged by the awards. I really enjoyed the atmosphere, meeting other and fantastic female founders. So I really enjoyed the whole experience. And with some words of encouragement from the Accelerator team, definitely encouraged me to reapply. So glad I did.
Yes, we're glad you did as well, Kate. Thank you. You're a pleasure to work with. If you have any questions for Kate as you're watching along, please do use that chat function and Kate will do her best to answer them.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. Our partners, Barclays Eagle Labs, have 23 labs throughout the UK, and it is your proximity to those labs that will determine which region you fall into. On the screen now, you will see a table with the 5 regions, and listed below that are the Eagle Labs that fall into those regions. As part of the application process, you will be asked to select your nearest Eagle Lab and will then be automatically allocated a region. The 5 finals will be held in the week commencing the 21st of March, one each morning, starting with the north of England on Monday, Northern Ireland on Tuesday. We'll have a Welsh Wednesday, followed by Scotland and their traditional Thursday slot, and we will round the week off with the south of England on Friday, the 25th of March. Coincidentally, the 25th of March is the date the finals were held this year, and that brings me nicely to another of our 2021 winners. Rebecca Goss of XGenix was the winner of the Disruptive Innovation category, and I'm sure after you hear her pitch, you will agree she is very disruptive indeed. Rebecca.
Thanks ever so much, Elizabeth, and thank you so much, Investing Women, for everything along this journey that you've taken me on. It's been absolutely brilliant. Can I check with you? Am I sharing my slides? Great.
Yes, we can see them.
Okay, so it's my absolute pleasure to talk to you today about XGenix. Now, prior to my meetings with Investing Women, I had not done a great deal of pitching at all. I remember very, very vividly a fantastic meeting in Glasgow where I learned, guided by your expertise, a little bit on how to make that pithy 1-minute elevator pitch. And that was lovely. That was in 2017. But then I remember also sitting in Alison's fantastic mentoring session. And I realized that from one of the other people who were part of the group, that you could actually use slides as part of this. So during that session, I very quickly constructed a slide deck. That was the very, very early stages of this. And I thank you so much, Investing Women, for the journey that you wonderful people have taken me on. So XGenix. Imagine a world where pharmaceuticals were cheaper to discover and we could actually tackle more disease. Imagine a world where pharmaceutical manufacture was more sustainable and did not cost the earth. I'm Professor Rebecca Goss, and I'm CEO and co-founder of XGenix. XGenix provides patented, proven technologies that introduce molecular X factor. So I wonder, do any of you like me suffer from seasonal allergies? Or with our wall-to-wall Zoom meetings these days, do you get the screen-induced migraines? If so, you're probably reaching for fantastic pharmaceuticals, such as this Claritin, aka loratadine. This pharmaceutical and the painkiller tolfenamic acid certainly have molecular X factor. So they have what scientists call a CX bond, a carbon halogen bond within it. And these two pharmaceuticals alone have an annual sales revenue of 11 billion per annum. So this molecular X factor imparts that great bioactivity, but it also makes them suitable for human medicine. And this 11 billion per annum alone for these two molecules, it's not even the tip of the iceberg. The numbers are absolutely vast. So if you look at the total amount of pharmaceutical ingredients that are made every single year, APIs for short, there are over 25 million tons, and the market size for this is immense. But how many of these have that molecular X factor that I've just shown? How many of those have that carbon chlorine bond? So very fast inspection, just of the top 200 best sellers, you can see that chlorine's used in the dose form. It's actually in that active pharmaceutical ingredient, giving it the molecular X factor in 26% of those drugs. But in even more than that, a further 67% require the use of that molecular X factor for the construction of the pharmaceutical. So only 7% is left out. So halogenation is huge. It has an estimated value of 250 billion per annum. And with our technology, we're looking at an immediately addressable market of 500 million. But how is that molecular X factor installed at the moment? Well, the way it's introduced in manufacture is using 100-year-old chemistries. It's a dirty secret of the pharmaceutical industry. So these 100-year-old technologies, they're costly. They use noxious, hard to handle and hazardous materials, and they're really wasteful, not sustainable. So if you take a single pure compound as your starting material and you try to halogenate it, you get an absolute mix of series of different products, which is not only wasting your starting material, but it's giving you a separation nightmare, which costs a lot of money downstream. So loss of revenue here and extra cost with that separation. So there's a growing interest in the pharmaceutical industry to look toward cleaner, more sustainable technologies, a growing appetite for enzyme technologies. And we have a proven, patented technology, which will take just really cheap, very easy to handle salt that you can buy, for example, from the supermarket, nothing fancy, and it will convert it using sustainable enzymes that we mine using our patented approach to be able to then introduce that molecular X factor into the molecule. Okay, so why isn't everybody doing this, and what is everybody doing? So this is our competitive landscape. So as I said to you, a lot of companies are really getting interested in biocatalysis for cost saving and to be able to generate compounds in a more readily accessible, sustainable manner. So all of these companies are beginning to take serious interest in biotransformation. But currently, as I said, the way of forming that CX bond, that way of introducing molecular X factor, entirely relies on old-fashioned chemical synthesis using really noxious chlorine gas. So when we discovered this, we patented it and then published a few of the components. And in response to this, we got contacted by a large number of pharmaceutical companies from around the world. And I'll pick out just a few of them here now. So moving forward, we're looking at, we're in discussions with a large number of pharmaceutical companies, and we've got case studies ongoing with AstraZeneca and Unilever looking at proof of concept studies with them. Our technology has attracted a lot of technology so far. Like Kate said with hers, a lot of this is grant funding, and we've got $1.25 million in grant funding forward. Looking to next with those proof of concepts is to drive them forward and start exploring the paid proof of concept with a number of different companies who are really excited on what our technology can deliver. The very selective access to these pharmaceutical ingredients and the promise of being able to generate these compounds sustainably. So I've got a really awesome team. This is our pre-spin out team, fantastic bunch of really expert scientists who are world leading in being able to form CX bonds. These are along the bottom row here, and amongst them actually they've got over 30 years of experience working in commercial environments. So there's a lot of business know-how there. We are thrilled to have on our team Dr. Guy Carter. So Guy was the previous head of chemistries at Wyeth, and we're now bringing onto team Dr. Bob Toos as well. So Dr. Bob Toos was with ICI, but more recently with Sasol, and then the development and startup of Drocket, a chemical catalysis company. And I also have Sanil Sharma as CSO, and great support from the University of St Andrews from their business development teams. So contracts we're working toward securing over the next few months are specifically looking toward halogenation in drug discovery. So if you want to make some of these fantastic drug leads, quite often they're very, very challenging to synthesize by themselves. So our technology provides a direct route in, as you could, as I showed you before, without that need for the purification steps. And it enables diversification around really complicated molecules, which is impossible with current chemistries. But more than that, more than generating the 10 milligram quantities for drug discovery, we're really wanting to position to be able to introduce this into manufacture. As I showed you, a lot of companies are getting into enzyme technologies, so the reactors are there, the skill sets are being embedded within pharmaceutical industry, and we're gearing up to be able to develop in partnership and license bespoke packages of enzymes for sustainable manufacture. So looking at getting them into the reactors, and we've got pilot studies ongoing with Unilever and with AstraZeneca at the moment, and working toward even faster routes that can be enabled using these enzymes. So whistle-stop tour, in 2019, we patented that technology. And then I was thrilled in March to win the AccelerateHER Disruptive Technology category. We've recently been told by Scottish Enterprise that they're funding our phase 2 project to take us to spin out. And during this time, we're developing our board, preparing heads of terms, and getting our investor-ready business plan together. So accelerating through this, we're bringing, as I said, Bob Toos onto team, looking at working with him for initiating first contracts and extending upon that existing customer base that we've got. Bob is an expert in contract procurement, so he's an ideal person, and we're super excited to have him joining our team at the moment. And this first set of compounds we envision are meeting our customer needs of being able to provide 10 milligram quantities of series of different pharmaceutically active materials to test in drug discovery assays in pharma. And contract sizes we're looking at ranging from 300K up to $1 million. Then we're looking shortly afterwards to be able to grow our team again, increasing capacity on the enzyme side to scale and be able to generate large quantities of enzyme for process, discovering and making bespoke enzyme solutions for the manufacture of pharmaceuticals. And it's very early days already, but of course we're looking at suitable exit strategies as well, and possibilities as to how we might exit in approximately 11 years' time. So personal path, following my PhD, I was really, really interested in the translational opportunities with the science that I was doing. I was working a lot with enzymes. I was working a lot with drug-like molecules. And I strategically moved to a one-year postdoc in Cambridge with a group which had already spun out its own drug discovery company, which was later acquired by Pfizer. And whilst I was in Cambridge, I helped set up an innovation network called Biology and Business. And it was a super exciting time because we could see these translational discoveries going into companies. I wondered which way I was going to go after that postdoc, and I was open to all avenues, whether it be going into industry, into patent law, or into academic research. I chose that academic research path and set up my own academic group, but I was always thinking, well, is there an opportunity for spinning out on this technology, on these new discoveries that we have? I was invited in for consultation with various different pharmaceutical companies. We've been blessed with various different awards for our science, but it's always been part of a very male community that I've worked in. And this is one particular awards dinner where sadly I am the only girl standing there. So a few years since that, and Christmas 2017, I put in the first application with Investing Women, had that fantastic experience, such a breath of fresh air networking with a group of women. And I've just been blown away by how encouraging, how supportive, and how fun the network is. Also, I've been really impressed by the really focused and time efficient training packages that you guys put together. So thank you so much. So thank you for this opportunity to talk at this brilliant event today. I'd encourage others who are thinking about this journey to step out on it. And lastly, leaving you with that consideration. Imagine sustainable manufacture and fast routes to drug discovery. Imagine partnership. Come and partner with us at Xgenix. We have that patented proven technology, and we're now working toward the delivery on those two products. Thanks, everyone. I'd be delighted to take questions in the chat or by email if you want to. I've left my email address here. Thanks.
Wow. Thank you, Rebecca. You never fail to amaze me. I am very professional presentation and just fascinating what you're doing there. I do have a wee question up my sleeve for you. I think you've probably kind of answered it, but you know, I know you're a very, very busy woman, and as are all of the ladies who enter the awards. So what motivated you to take the time out of your busy schedule to enter the awards? You know, did you not think that maybe you had other more important things to do?
Absolutely not any more important thing than this, Elizabeth. Yeah, so you're right. It is a really busy lifestyle that all of us live, and many of us are mums of small children as well. So that's the additional pressure on top of our very busy careers. But as I mentioned, this has been my ambition for a long time, to move work towards translation. I almost ended up in industry right at the beginning. I nearly didn't take the academic route. I nearly took the business route. But I just want to thank you again for making the process so time efficient. It's not a massive application form. And the training that you deliver is really tailored to be at just the right level. And it is, you pack so much into the time, and give us exactly the skills that we need for that stage of our journey. So it would be crazy not to take the opportunity. So thank you, Elizabeth.
Oh no, thank you, Rebecca. We're so glad that you did take that opportunity. And like Kate, you're a pleasure to work with. I always say I've got the best job in the world because I get to meet fantastic people like you every day. Thank you, Rebecca. So you might be wondering which is the right category for your business, and perhaps wondering if you can enter more than one category. Well, unfortunately, you can only enter one category at a time. So do select the one that is best suited to your business. Now, keep in mind, disruptive innovation is the most popular category. So if your business fits into one of the other categories, science and medtech, clean tech, climate and net zero, or fintech, data science and cybersecurity, you may give yourself slightly better odds by selecting that category. Now, that said, if the shortlisting judges spot an entry that they feel is better suited to another category, they will let me know, and we can look at moving you if we decide that's appropriate. Now, with the weather turning colder outside, I do kind of wish we were gathered round a real open fire today, but we'll just have to use our imaginations instead. However, there's no lack of warmth from the two ladies that are joining me round our virtual fire. I'm delighted to be joined by Catherine Morgan, Head of High Growth and Entrepreneurs in Business Banking at Barclays, and our founder and CEO, Jackie Waring. Good morning, ladies. Thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Good morning, pleasure.
Yes, good morning. Very happy to be here.
Fantastic. Ladies, it won't come as any surprise to you that I want to talk to you about awards and the benefits of entering awards, in particular for female founders. Catherine, I hope you'll forgive me for turning to Jackie first, but I thought it made sense to ask Jackie, what motivated you to create the awards back in 2016? It was a genius idea, by the way, but do tell me how you came to it.
Oh, thank you. And I guess a lot of people really contributed to the idea and they influenced it. But and actually the seeds were sown in 2015 when just out of sheer frustration, frankly, about the lack of visibility of the great female founders that we knew were out there. I see Rebecca nodding her head, and actually Rebecca's photograph just demonstrated that beautifully of the awards. And there she is, the only woman in that lineup. And how many more women could have been there that were out there doing whatever they're doing, not, you know, in completely different industries even, but they were excelling at what they do, but just not visible. And we knew with all of the work we'd been doing over the years and in previous roles in my own case, that every day I met all these fabulous female founders, but I just didn't see them out there. They weren't highly visible. So this is really what was one of the key drivers, and visibility is just so critical for getting the right connections in business to help drive the company forward. So, and I also was very, frustrated by perceptions, which I think have gone away now, actually, or they're certainly going away. But there used to be a lot of perceptions that, you know, a lot of female founders were just not that, you know, there wasn't the same drive there for growth and scale. And again, we knew that was absolute nonsense. It wasn't reflected in the statistics, but we knew it was nonsense and that there was some disconnect there somewhere. So we knew what was really needed was to create this channel, if you like, for female founders to become a lot more visible, to get connected, to be introduced to investors where that was necessary for their companies, and everything else that goes along with that. So in 2015, we actually decided, with absolutely no budget whatsoever, social media was the only thing that we had. And we just put a call out to ambitious female founders in Scotland, wanted to see 3-minute pitch video, same as it is today, and to send that into us if these founders would like to be seen and be connected. And within a few weeks, we had 128 videos that just came out of nowhere, and that told us everything that we needed to know. That there were endless numbers of phenomenal female founders out there, and we just needed to work harder to make sure that we created the right channels for helping them get there. So that was the motivation.
Yeah, and from those humble beginnings, although I'm not sure I can call 128 entries for the first awards humble beginnings, but the awards have now evolved into the AccelerateHER Awards in partnership with Barclays Eagle Labs. And Catherine, I know that Barclays have been involved in the AccelerateHER Awards in some shape or form since those first awards in 2016, but we're delighted this year to take that partnership to a whole new level. Can you talk to us a little bit about Barclays' motivation to get involved with the awards and to take it UK-wide?
Yeah, absolutely. And actually really exciting to be here today and to hear your previous winners' pitches. Actually, they're really, really cool, right? I've got like an inner scientist in me, right? So I kind of love listening to all this stuff, right? And understanding how, great female entrepreneurs are trying to innovate and change the world, right? And I just think this is a big part of supporting that. In terms of why Barclays is kind of here and why we really committed to kind of what you've been doing over a number of years, and delighted that, we have the opportunity to support your national expansion now. It kind of links to a number of different things, right? We believe really strongly in entrepreneurship. So in my role, we cover kind of high growth businesses and entrepreneurs who have that ambition to scale and to be, to be bigger and to innovate and disrupt. We see that innovation is there right across the country. We see it as the lifeblood of kind of growth in the UK, right? So entrepreneurs are generating new jobs, generating income, and all of that is kind of key to kind of a UK PLC success. So kind of these are all really great motivators, right? They're kind of the big macro kind of elements that enable us to do that. But why do we see that the sort of the driving female entrepreneurship is really important? Many of you will know that Barclays is one of the founding signatories for the Investing in Women's Code, which is a Treasury kind of sponsored initiative back in 2019. And, you know, one of our key deliverables here is we want to support 100,000 women to set up new businesses and get them through and growing. We are also really keen to connect the right support to female entrepreneurs through their journey, right? So one of the things we do through Eagle Labs, as you already kindly mentioned, it is a number of areas there in terms of support, helping with pitching. So some of that is what you're doing, but also very sort of specific elements on that journey, right? So if you sort of get to a point and then you want to sort of expand in the US, we have those kind of connections that can kind of help with some of that. So these are all things that are really close to our hearts, yeah, and we're really keen actually to support the innovation. It also links really tightly with a report that we published yesterday with the Female Founders Forum, which speaks very specifically to like funding gaps. And whilst that gap's been closed in the sort of green tech space, there's still room to go in some of the others. And so actually it's exciting for me to support these award categories that you've got, because hopefully this helps us kind of start to break down some of those barriers that might still exist.
Yeah, here's hoping. The categories we chose were specifically because they are ones that you don't traditionally see female founders in, and hopefully we're demonstrating today and having previous finals just how many female founders there are out there in those categories. Now, ladies, what I find sometimes is that when you talk about entering awards, people can treat it with a little bit of disdain, and why is a founder spending their time entering an award instead of driving their business forward? What would you say to that?
Is that to me? Do you want to start, Jackie, and then I'll add?
Sure. Yeah, we can do it to time it out one after the other. Why not? Yes, thank you. Well, absolutely. Well, I think what we're seeing here, and hopefully demonstrating with our wonderful winners from last year, that actually entering the awards is driving the business forward. So that's the whole intention here. I mentioned visibility. From the visibility becomes the connections come from that, and wonderful partners like Barclays Eagle Labs are so important, and not forgetting Scottish Government and Scottish Enterprise, who have been with us from day one with the awards as well, and who have really helped fuel what we're doing here. And with the help of all of these partners, what we're actually doing is connecting up the founders internationally on international missions, making direct introductions to investors, sometimes actually with our own angel group, Investing Women Angels. We are indeed investing and have invested in quite a number of the winners as well. But it's about connecting people very widely, absolutely not just with us, much wider than us, because that's what gets you access to the resource, the right people, the connections. And a couple of examples from previous winners, previous finalists. Actually, more than 50% of our finalists got proactive approaches from investors and other organizations, the large corporates perhaps, depending on the sector, but interested in connecting with those companies and doing research and development, actually development work, contracts, and for some leading to investment where investors have been interested as well. So it's about very much more than just having awards. The visibility and the connections really are what's critical here. And if we look at, obviously we're about to scale this up massively thanks to Eagle Labs and the UK-wide connection now, but in Scotland alone, with really modest numbers of winners and finalists to date over the past 6 years, or five to 6 years, over 36 million of investment has been enabled. We're talking about 24 winners over the years there. And that's really just at the very early stage that those companies are going on to grow and of course raise again after that. So this is working. This is working. We're actually starting to see the dial shift in terms of investment going into female founded companies. It just needs to be done on a much bigger scale so that we can see it shift a lot faster, a lot more.
Yeah, and I think I'd sort of things I'd add on are, you know, if you need a tangible thing straight away, so by entering, if you become a regional finalist, you get access to sort of Eagle Lab membership services, which you would not normally get access to unless you're an Eagle Lab member. And there's a number of benefits in there that we can support you with in addition. So that might include offers or mentorship, and certainly we can help with supporting in other connections and ecosystems that we have too. I think more generally, the entering an award kind of demonstrates your ambition. It demonstrates where you want to go, and if nothing else, it's nice to say it for yourself. Yeah, I have the ambition, I want to do it, and this is how I demonstrate that really clearly. It helps with, I genuinely think it helps with confidence building. You get more people looking in at what you're doing, helping refine. So I think one of your earlier winners mentioned, you know, it helped refine the pitch. And I think all of that support is really, really valuable, right? And I think the other thing for me is it just creates more dialogue, right? So it creates more dialogue across the whole ecosystem about the great innovators we have and the great female innovators we have. And that in itself just generates more opportunity. So I think the more we do, it just generates more, right? And I think that's for everybody's benefit.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, ladies. I'd love to keep talking about this. I could talk about the benefits of entering awards until the cows come home. And one of my particular favourites is watching how entrants grow over the years if they come back a couple of years in a row, and just seeing their confidence start to bloom is really something special. And we'll look forward to seeing that happen again this year. Ladies, I must move on, but thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate that.
Thank you.
And so moving on to our next winner from 2021 in the FinTech, Data Science and Cybersecurity category. Our winner was Sarah Veneer of Husmus. Sarah dazzled the judges with her innovative solution for landlords and tenants. But don't take my word for it. Here's Sarah to tell you all about it.
Hi, Elizabeth. Thank you so much for that intro. I'm just going to share my screen now, and please give a shout when you can see what I'm sharing.
That's it up there, Sarah. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay. So, hi, everyone. I'm Sarah Veneer, the co-founder and CEO of Husmus. Our mission is to create a world where private renting is inclusive, affordable, and convenient. Our smart assistant provides landlords and tenants with behavior price insurance. My journey with Husmus started when I became an accidental landlord, and I discovered a very hard truth that success as a landlord rests on finding reliable tenants. Sadly, it's not always obvious who is. And in today's world, landlords do things like choosing tenants based on credit histories and perceived job stability, and they require deposits and guarantors as risk mitigation. But these practices are not only expensive and time-consuming for landlords, but crucially, they don't always work. And they've led to increasing housing inaccessibility, lifestyle restrictions, and high upfront costs for tenants. I realized that the problem was risk, how it's assessed, and who carries it. Therefore, Husmus is landlord and tenant insurance, but not as you know it. Our insurance premiums are priced by user behavior. But what really makes us special is our data and how we use it. We've changed the way that tenants are assessed, shifting the risk model from focusing on things like credit histories and job status to behavior profiles. Because what we found is that a person's actually credit history has a very weak correlation to their behavior as a tenant, i.e. their ability to pay the rent on time and to take care of property. Our proprietary model uses a combination of behavioral economics and predictive modeling to build an informative tenant profile using data from various sources, such as open banking and inspection reports. Therefore, we are able to create a 5-point rating system that identifies low-risk tenants with a 99.8% accuracy. The impact is that we create a more inclusive assessment process that better identifies reliable tenants, improving access to homes for underrepresented tenants, meaning people who are usually left out of private renting, such as anyone on benefits or who has pets or small children, or is a key worker and probably doesn't have a full-time contract. They are now, with the use of Husmos, more likely to be accepted into housing. But we don't stop there. We've really dialed up the social impact of our product by customizing insurance packages based on user needs. These can cover a tenant for anything from rent deposits, accidental pet damage, and unpaid rent, making our pricing structure reward positive behavior with lower premiums, and therefore reducing the upfront cost for tenants by up to 90%, while simultaneously giving landlords the confidence to accept tenants regardless of their lifestyle choices. Finally, I don't know how many of you out there have had to claim on insurance, but it's not a very great process. Therefore, we have created an AI assistant that enables automated claims and repairs handling. This allows us to provide an unprecedented level of convenience to our users. Our users generally choose us because of the cost savings and loss prevention that we provide, but they stay with us because of the convenience. Husmos focuses on 3 key segments. The first is our DIY landlord population, because it's a common misconception that most landlords use agents. Actually, half of landlords in the UK never use agents at all, and a third of them only use them to find tenants. Second is millennials and Gen Z, which are the fastest growing demographic. And lastly, because as you see from that picture on there, I have 2 cats of my own, our third target population is tenants with pets. Because unfortunately, although 41% of UK homes have pets, only 7% of landlords accept them in properties. These segments have been constantly in the news lately as the UK government is keen to provide more equitable environment for renters. Our team is really motivated to solve this problem. We have over 10 years of experience in landlording and machine learning, and over 30 years of experience in software development. Moreover, we're supported by industry advisors from the property, insurance, and SaaS industries. Our journey has been fruitful so far. Since we launched our MVP in September 2020, we have assessed over 2,500 tenants and simultaneously built up a waitlist of over 3,000 leads for our insurance products. Based on the value our data and model provides, we've onboarded a panel of insurance underwriters to carry our risks. And we've already been certified by the FCA, and we're working on our acceptance into Lloyd's of London. Now I want to talk to you guys a little bit about my journey with AccelerateHER. Since winning last year's FinTech category, it's had a big impact on our trajectory. We've received a lot of support from investing women and actually also from Barclays Eagle Labs. In the first instance, we got a lot of great publicity from the pitch event and competition itself. And we saw that actually reflected in our website visitors in the time after the event. So the month of and the month after our event, which was really great for us because we were just a super early startup at that time. We've also received mentorship directly from investing women and access to their investing portal as well. They've supported us directly on a number of things, from our pitch story. I think Rebecca mentioned already, and Jackie did too, about the 3-minute video that goes into your application. That 3-minute video that AccelerateHER helped me put together actually goes out to our investors now as part of a mini summary of our pitch. So not only was it useful for the application, it actually helped me a lot during my investment and funding search journey. I've also had my financial projections bashed about by the really experienced angels in the group, which again helped me in my funding journey, because then I had answers for anything that investors might ask you about your financial projections. And lastly, the network sharing. I can't explain how lovely it is to be able to work with other women who are building businesses or who have built businesses and are now in the angel pool themselves. And moreover, discussions with other founders who've been through this experience has been very useful. One very tangible evidence base, I would say, is that a lot of the ladies who have been through this AccelerateHER have got grant funding. And that was something that I was really interested in. And quite a number of people pitched together to help me put together my grant application. So that's not something that you see every day. And there's not so many other female founders that you find that would actually give you some hands-on support with something like that. So for anyone who is out there thinking about applying to this, it most definitely is worthwhile. And I have seen the impact of the experience on my business. Let me leave you with this. 1/3 of the world population rent their homes. Husmus makes the process inclusive and affordable for them. If you believe in this mission, consider supporting one of our asks. We recently launched a crowdfund, so if you would like to hear more about it, feel free to reach out on the email that I've put in the description there at hello@husmus.net. Additionally, we're hiring now, and we're looking for full stack developers and a marketing manager. So if you know anyone who would be interested in our mission and who is a talented developer or marketing manager, then please have them reach out on our careers page. Thank you so much for your time, and I will be very happy to answer any questions that you may have for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sarah, for that fantastic presentation and those kind words. I had goosebumps listening to you singing our praises there, and we can only sing your praises as well. As Sarah said, if you've got any questions for her, just put it in the chat. You have got the opportunity to request a connection to any of our speakers today through the feedback form afterwards as well. Sarah, Rebecca touched on this a little bit as well, and I was delighted to hear that your 3-minute video has come in useful since the awards. But how did you find the application process? I hate forms, so that would put me off entering if I thought it was too onerous.
Absolutely, I absolutely hate forms, and I think I said a little bit about that when I was talking, because grant applications are just like, oh God, save me. It's like 5,000 words. I'm not sure I'm in for this, even though I want the grant. But the application process for AccelerateHER is actually quite simple. It's just you talking about yourself and your hopes and your dreams for your business. And I think anyone, even if you are literally just starting today with your idea, or you've been doing this for 10 years, can, come up with your story and share that with people. And I think that that's actually a really great way to hear from the horse's mouth, because not everybody might be really good at written communication, but certainly if you're a founder, you're used to talking about your business for sure. So I think that that makes it a really streamlined application process, and it's not too heavy-handed. So I found it actually useful both for the process and then, as I said, post, because that video now is my pitch video for that is what I send out to investors when I'm asking them to learn more about Husmus. So yeah, very useful.
Fantastic. Thank you, Sarah. And thanks for your time this morning. Now, new for this year, we are making the application process even easier by using the dedicated platform Submit. Now, you will need to create a profile on Submit, but the beauty of that is it allows you to save your application and come back and forth to it, make changes before you finally submit it. There's only a small number of very easy questions in the application. The main part is, as Sarah said, your 3-minute video. Now, you can either prepare your video and upload it to Submit, or you can record it directly into Submit as you do your application. And don't worry, Submit gives you a chance to do retakes if need be. Now, remember, the judges are not looking at the production quality of your video. It's what you say that's important. So make sure you tell them about your business and who or what your target market is, and include a bit about your potential to scale and the technology or innovation that's behind your business. Now, that's a lot to fit into 3 minutes, but if you've got a bit of time left, do add a bit about your team and give an overview of your finances. But don't be tempted to go over the 3 minutes. We'll be very strict about the time when it comes to the finals, and our 4 winners would tell you stories about my bell, I'm sure. There's lots of information about what to put in your video on the FAQ page of our website, and keep an eye on social media for hints and tips throughout the application's open period. You'll find our website at accelerateher.co.uk. We're on Twitter at AccelerateHER UK. We're on LinkedIn as AccelerateHER-UK and Instagram as at AccelerateHER_UK. If you're posting about us on social media, and I probably should have said this at the start of the event, please do tag us and use the hashtag AccelerateHER Awards. And so now it's time to hear from our final 2021 winner. Last, but definitely not least, is Aisling Penley of Zoex Power. Like Kate, Ash made it to the finals before in 2020 and came back in 2021 to claim the crown. Over to you, Aisling.
Thank you. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
I'll share my screen to start with. Okay, sorry about that. Okay.
There we go, perfect.
Right. Hi everyone, I'm the co-founder of Zoex Power Limited, the clean power for the blue economy. We are a startup with proprietary clean energy technology that generates power for off-grid marine platforms or breakwaters, aquaculture barges like the one in this picture, or offshore wind platforms. We aim to replace diesel power used offshore with our clean technology. Our mission is to bring the world's first commercially viable wave energy solution to market by 2024. Yes, wave energy has been overly expensive historically, but we believe we cracked the code and our prototype price is competitive with diesel generation. With scale of economies, we have a clear roadmap to reduce the price further to offshore wind level in the future. Right now, we're seeking investment to support the installation of a commercial demonstrator. Our initial target market is the aquaculture sector. We have good customer engagement with support from leading fish farms, Scottish Sea Farms in Scotland, and global equipment suppliers, Aqua Group, who are happy to host a demo project. Our product, Zoex Active Fenders, as you see in this picture, can be mounted directly onto an aquaculture fish farm barge, displacing the diesel consumption, doing the same job without the harmful emissions. Our customers are looking for a solution like ours right now because they are under binding net zero policy. Aquaculture industry is a good entry market. It is a global market which offers export opportunities for a Scottish company like ours. And it's likely to be the leading source of protein for human consumption in the future, especially due to the declining fish stocks. We have estimated a potential sales of up to 60 units in the UK, Scottish waters, and over 1,000 internationally with our current technology. It's when we reach the utility scale, when we drop the price, that's an extremely large market valued up to £200 billion. I can talk so much more about my technology and my business, but if I may, I'd like to talk about my experiences. I'm sure all the other female founders here will find it more interesting and relate maybe more, because we all do our business with a passion, whatever reasons and life experiences brought us here. And mine started 20 years ago with scuba diving. I fell in love with the colors of the underwater life. The colors of a coral garden is far beyond your wildest dreams. Of course, soon enough, I realized the adverse effects of the climate change, and even before anyone was talking about recycling, I wanted to protect that beauty so I can just keep diving. So selfish, really. But ironically, I was working in the oil and gas sector and making a lot of money. I've seen the world with my job. I worked in Australia, in America, and obviously in the North Sea. When the Paris Agreement was signed in 2015, I thought this is the right time to make a move. And I put all my skill set from oil and gas, from the dirty energy into clean energy, including my savings. I was in Houston at the time. I moved back to UK because the Scottish Government was supporting clean energy ideas more than the Trump administration at the time. And to be honest, without the Scottish enterprise being such a great support, I wouldn't have been here. You know, like everybody else in the cohort here, I also won several grant funding from Scottish enterprise. And thanks to AccelerateHER's support and credibility, that accelerated my visibility and my business a lot. But has the journey been easy? Absolutely not. And I didn't know this was going to be such a tough journey, but I'd like to share it because I'm sure everybody come across with a lot of challenges along their way. First of all, you know, I had to prepare myself to a lot of rejection. People will not get the idea first time they hear it. But I didn't know that. Even Queen, who played Bohemian Rhapsody for the first time to a record producer, it was rejected. The producer said, "This is such a long song, who would listen to it?" And obviously it became the best times classic song ever. And Mr. Al Gore said once in his personal letter to me, yes, he wrote me a personal letter to appreciate all my efforts I've done in a climate denial city like Houston. Anyways, I always remember this quote, after the final no comes the first yes. It's a beautiful quote from someone who dedicated his 40 years to fight climate change. After the final no comes the first yes. So I never give up. I kept going. My motto was focus on course until success, which stands for focus on course until success. But always, you know, have to remember that there will be sacrifices along the way. For example, my marriage couldn't handle the financial, the emotional stress of my startup business. I always felt like I stole time from my children's. They were 5 and 6, now they're 10 and 11 years old. But I believe that I'm doing what I'm doing for them and for all the children of the future. And I think they knew this, and to be honest, they've been my biggest supporter. We named the concept after them, Zoe and Alex, Zoex. I'd like to leave you with our animation video, which shows Zoex ActiveFender's market application. And I'm a proud mom to say that the voiceover is done by my 11-year-old daughter, Zoe. If you're interested to hear more about Zoex or just want to connect with me, please find me on LinkedIn or drop me a note on the chat box.
Thank you, Ash. That was a fantastic pitch, and thank you for being so honest as well. There's comments in the chat. Thank you for baring your soul. And that quote, after the final no comes the first yes. I love that. I think I'm going to print that out and put it on my office wall, actually. Really good. Your daughter for sure has a future in voiceovers. I may call on her for some videos for us. Ash, you are very impressive. Indeed, all the pitches we've heard this morning have been impressive. We've gone from stem cell livers to enzyme technologies to insurance based on behavioural profiles, and finally, affordable wave energy. Incredible. But what would you say to a female founder who's watching this now and is thinking, oh my goodness, they're all amazing. I can never live up to that, so there's no point in entering.
Well, I was quite surprised when I won it because it is very, very competitive. Yeah, the quality of the female founders are out there are amazing. When I hear all the pitches, I'm blown away. And that's why it's very prestigious to win it. I really carried that logo of AccelerateHER winner in my emails throughout the whole year. I'm going to keep it till March, am I? Hopefully until the next winner. It's like,
you can keep it forever, Ash, because it says 2021. You'll always be the winner of the 2021 award.
So it's almost like a crown, but it's really worth making the effort. Plus the warmth of the Accelerator group, you know, from all the female founders is really, you know, worth the millions, you know, especially during the COVID lockdown. You know, I remember attending the boot camps, just listening to all the other founders sharing similar problems, even though we all do different businesses, actually the problems that we were experiencing, the experiences, and that's why I wanted to talk about my experiences today. We do different businesses, but we actually are against very similar challenges, and to have that support from other female founders were amazing. So even whether you win or not win, you're a winner, so please attend.
Fantastic, just go for it. Ash says so. Folks, if you've got a burning question for Ash, there are a few minutes left of this event for you to put it in the chat, and she'll answer it before the event closes. And again, you can request to be connected in the post-event survey. So that was our 4 winners from the AccelerateHER 2021 Awards. And you could join the Hall of Fame as a winner of the AccelerateHER Awards 2022 in partnership with Barclays Eagle Labs. Here's a few dates to keep in mind. As I said, the awards are open now for entries, and that will close on Friday, the 10th of December at 5 to midnight. We'll then share the applications and videos with our shortlisting judges, who will select the finalists. Those finalists will be announced on Monday, the 17th of January, 2022. Then those finalists will have until Friday, the 11th of February to submit a 1-page executive summary about your business. On Thursday, the 14th and 24th of February, we are running pitch coaching sessions for the finalists. So that's an opportunity for you to come along, deliver your pitch in front of some of our angel investors and get feedback, not only from them, but from other finalists as well. I often think the finalists find that as useful as hearing it from the angel investors. You don't have to attend both of them. It's a choice of dates for you. And then the finals in the week commencing the 21st of March 2022, and that will be here before we know it, starting in the north of England on Monday the 21st of March, moving on to Northern Ireland, Wales on Wednesday, Scotland on Thursday, and rounding off with the south of England on Friday the 25th of March. Thankfully, this will all be done on Zoom, so I'll be joining these from the comfort of my own office rather than having to get between these locations one day after the other. Before we finish, I want to say thank you to a few people. First of all, of course, our 4 2021 winners for taking the time to pitch today, for being so fabulous and for saying such nice things about us. Kate Cameron of Cytochroma, Rebecca Goss of XGenix, Sarah Veneer of Husmus, and Ashlyn Pentley of Zoex Power. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I am extremely proud of all 4 of you. And I always say I've got the best job in the world because I interact every day with fantastic female founders like these 4. Thank you also to my fireside companions, Catherine Morgan, Head of High Growth and Entrepreneurs in Business Banking at Barclays, and the lady who we would not be here without, our founder and CEO, Jackie Waring. And of course, I have to say a huge thank you to the rest of the AccelerateHER team who worked tirelessly to make this event and the awards run smoothly. Elaine Bone, Alison Jones, and Holly Bruce, thank you. Our Scottish sponsors, the Scottish Government and CGI, you have shaped the awards over the years, and we are delighted to continue working with you as the awards grow. And thank you, of course, to our partners, Barclays Eagle Labs. You are an absolute pleasure to work with, and I can't wait to see what we can achieve together. Or rather, I can't wait to see what the female founders we support achieve with our help. Thank you to those of you who are watching. I hope we have impressed, inspired, and entertained you this morning. If you're a female founder who's thinking about entering, I want to say to you now, you are good enough and you should enter. And if you know a female founder that you think should enter, please encourage her. You might just be the wee push that she needs to go for it. And who knows where that will lead. Thank you for watching, and we will see you at the finals in March.